7:14 on this October 29th. We want to finally welcome back to the microphone our county judge.
Good morning.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just so thankful we got some good rain and got soaking back in the ground, and we don't have to worry about the fire dangers. All everybody was excited about in the whole state.
Sweating that one, no pun intended.
It was, but it's good to be here, and it's good to be out. And
David Geist was here from Cotter. Yeah. And I don't know, when was David here? Well, he's here when the governor called in last week. And, hey, whoa, red flags here. It's pretty
well,
bad.
And they had water issues that they were down in water. This is why they had a burn ban inside Cotter, because they had limited water supply and was trusting on water shuttle from the city of Gassville to keep their fire protection. So, but Salesville and Cotter both had a fire ban inside the city limits. But we were on the verge in the whole county. I mean, we were close. If the rain hadn't come, we'd be under fire ban this week.
Well, after David was here from Cotter Volunteer Fire Department, we told folks, just if you got to do outdoor burning, call your local officials first and find out exactly what's going on, because we're in, so many people in different counties listen to us.
Let me make a comment about that. Sometimes when the conditions are where they were before Friday, we often get people to call the office, and my secretary will answer the phone and they'll say, "Is the burn ban on?" "No, it's not on right now." "Okay, I'll go burn before it goes on." Why did you call? If you know the conditions are bad enough, you got to call and see if we're on a burn ban.
If in doubt, don't.
It's interesting. A lot of people will do that, and we even had one yesterday or day before. I think Tuesday we had one called in. One if we had a burn ban on, but there were 61 counties in the state that did.
Yeah,
and the rest of us were getting close. So
it left 14 without.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as of yesterday morning, they all were lifted. But there were 61 counties. Southern Arkansas, people thought it was dry here. Southern Arkansas was extreme drought, and the forest country down there, that's extremely dangerous.
Southeast Arkansas.
It's all the whole southern state. South Arkansas River, everything was dry.
Really?
And it was just powder dry. They
were
way behind.
To cross it to El Dorado, plus wow.
Really? They went under burn. A lot of them went under burn bans 3-4 weeks ago. There was a few counties, and then it started creeping north. And you watch the drought. The Arkansas Forestry has a really good map. They keep up with all that, monitor, and if you watch that, and I follow them on Twitter, and they publish that, and so we keep an eye on it that way. But yeah, they were really dry down there.
See them bring up drought monitor here. They normally have it on National Watersheds. Anyway. Yeah,
Arkansas Forestry has that. But it's good to be here, and got lots of things going on, and it's good to see the moisture.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I have to get out and travel and go to conferences and learn things.
See that schedule. You're here on the 3rd too, so you're back to your regular schedule.
That's like next week, isn't it?
Yeah, like Wednesday.
But you forgot the biggest news.
What?
The Royals win.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't have to stay up to midnight to watch it. No, it was exciting. It's World Series time, deer hunting season time, and it's Arkansas. So it's a beautiful time. Fall, I hear a lot of people say, and I agree with it, fall is probably one of the most, if not the most beautiful time of the year in Arkansas.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Because nature shines its entire beautiful colors, and it's I
got to go to Fayetteville Saturday afternoon.
Oh, shaming.
Oh, my. That's a beautiful drive this time of year.
Isn't there a side road you can drive down? Elks ought to be bugling, and
well, yeah, you can go down 23 and around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about we try that?
Yeah, we've been aiming to take the grandkids over and listen to the elk bugle. We may have already missed it by now, but usually the first of the middle of October, it's really, really nice to go over.
South of Huntsville over there.
Yeah, Bosley.
Yeah.
Boxley Valley. Yeah, down in that area, you can just pull up on the side of the road and watch them.
Wow.
It's hear and listen, and there'll be a crowd there before dark. But it's good to be here, and appreciate you having us on. We got lots of exciting things going on in the county, as well as the weather and all those good things. The construction season's about over. We are still doing some more road building, starting some new projects, but we've got a lot of roads rebuilt and repaved and resealed this year. Mm-hmm. Just inspected a couple of the state aid roads that last week. They got them turned back over to Caney Baker and Jordan Road with both. We just striped, put new yellow stripes on about 8 high-traveled roads, and those people are very thankful that we were able to get that done. I had one person tell me it's amazing. A road we had resurfaced this year, so we put new double yellow stripes down the middle. And he said, "You know, that made that road 2 foot wider because they don't have them stripes on it. They have to ride in the middle of the road. They don't think it's wide enough, and when they put the stripes on it, it looks, oh, I've got room on my side."
Tell you what, I was coming back from Little Rock a week ago Saturday, and I left Little Rock about 5:30. I was down at the Doubletree, and Highway 65 at Van Buren County, they could use a couple of buckets of yellow paint down there. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's going to be a constant construction effort down through there in Van Buren County. The county judge down there told me they were going all the way to the next county line. I think eventually that contract's they're working on getting 65 improved all the way north of Clinton. So even more
But
so.
I don't
but it's
understand,
good.
why are they spending the money to widen the lanes through B Branch when it'd make more sense just to go around it with a small bypass
Because I've talked to the engineers
and not go through downtown and Damascus. Come on.
a lot of that is property
Yeah.
access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Damascus, you know,
That's
if you're,
a big issue.
Once you get just inside Damascus, you stop, get out, put it neutral, and push so you don't get a ticket. you
That's
know?
right. It's ticket capital of Arkansas.
Boy, that's horrible down there.
My wife's favorite. I know I didn't say that. But
Did somebody get pulled over?
that was a long time ago. And we'd been on the road for 10 hours. But it is a beautiful time to be in Baxter County. And a lot of things happening around here. You know, we just got through with the fair and had a record
That was
attendance
fun.
in the
That
fair.
was
And
fun.
it was clean and lots
Did
of
you see the lawnmower
activities.
races?
Oh, yes.
That was fun.
We had I've got videos of it because in the Good Old Boys races, our road and bridge crew had built together a lawnmower and they ended up winning it.
Really?
And it was kind of like a matter of attrition. They were the last one still running. But I videoed that. But yeah, we watched that. That had a big draw to it. I think they had to pay attention to that because they've been trying to get here and they got a good sponsor and they brought that in here and that's what those guys got to work on to beat them and they ended up doing it. So, but yeah, that was really good.
That was fun. Yeah.
It was to come in and to replace something that couldn't get here and it turned out to be very successful.
Really?
Because there was 400 or 500 people there that night.
Yeah.
And yeah, we watched that, and that was really nice.
It was fun. You
But
know,
the whole fair,
was fun.
yeah, the whole thing was really fun. But
I've got to express my disappointment, though. Remember the old gospel music shows they used to have in the exhibition hall on Saturday night?
mm-hmm.
Nobody comes anymore.
Yeah, I
And they had
did.
some
My
good-
wife and I,
good people there.
somebody had told me who was singing some name or group or something. Anyway, we were before we left. She had a booth there, and before we left, we went down there and sat, and it was really
This is a
hardly
good
anybody in the
no,
room. And,
15, 18 people, maybe. Yeah.
and it was
I think I said
fairly
there you
a
go.
big headline group that was singing. But yeah, there's just a handful of people in that big room.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of people there this weekend, though. It's going to be full.
Oh, I bet it is.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got going on?
Well, I've got Tina Cole, my safety coordinator and deputy OEM here, and she's been putting together a preparedness fair, and we're going to have it on Halloween. And we're going to have time sometime when before we run out of time to talk about all the great things that we're going to have to get you ready to face any kind of disaster.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got 6 minutes, 20 seconds to get started. Then we got the whole second half. So here we go.
Well, Tina can do introduced. We'd welcome her to be here with us on the radio today, and she can talk about what's going to give you kind of a headline
Morning.
and keep them listening for the second half.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, glad to have you.
Well, this is our 4th annual Emergency Preparedness Fair. We got some really exciting stuff going on. Number one thing I want to remember to mention, because I have a tendency to forget, is we're having a blood drive. American Red Cross is going to be here to do that. And if you donate blood, you get a free T-shirt. And
I'm taking notes. Keep
okay.
talking.
And then another big thing
Before she gets away from blood drive,
Yeah.
you can wear your vampire uniform. We'll still take
Oh,
it.
there.
It is Halloween.
Yeah.
It's time to
Oh, that's
draw a
hilarious.
little blood.
Yeah.
we'll take all the blood we can get.
And what we discussed the other day, 1 pound of blood from one donation helps three people.
Yes, sir.
Really?
And as we know, in a disaster like a tornado or
Yeah.
earthquake, folks get injured, and blood is so critical, and that's part of the preparedness fair.
What we want to talk about here is the fact is in the last 6 years, we've had just about everything you can throw at us up here. Floods, tornadoes, ice. I think, the tornado and the ice was something else. The floods, it didn't affect everybody here, but overall it affects everybody, if that makes sense. But
Well, from 2008, the tornado in February 2008 until May of 2011, we had 5 presidentially declared disasters in Baxter County.
say that again. From
The tornado,
the tornado hit in February of 8,
8.
then the ice storm in 9. And what else?
Well, there was 2 floods in 08.
That's right.
And then we had the ice storm, and then we had another flood in May of 2011. And those were all presidentially declared disasters.
And we have dodged a bullet the last 2 years because Marion County has been under those disasters on floods. They've had at least 2 events. I think this year they've had, or 4 in the last 2 years. I don't know how we kept the rain on the other side of the river, but it's got close to us this time. We've just been really fortunate.
But you talk about that. I've watched the radar, and it's funny when you get that dry pattern over the county. There's times you can see that rain, you can put it in motion. I always use National Weather Service, weather.gov. And you put that in motion, and like the judge was saying, if we had rain coming, say, from Tulsa, Fayetteville, Harrison, you could just actually see it dry up when it got to the river, and it wouldn't get here. It'd be raining in Yellville and Flippin, then it wouldn't be raining in Gassville.
Well, even, was it last winter? We had several bad winter storms went all the way around us.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
How bad do you dread winter? Both of you.
We don't necessarily dread winter. What's happened the last 2 winters, especially in 13-14 winter, was the temperatures and the fronts, and you never know where we live. Anywhere somewhere between Kansas City and Memphis usually gets this, and we got hit with it like in 92 and 93. We got slammed with snow.
Oh, yeah.
But the temperature was just right to create the perfect storm, so we had freezing rain, sleet, slush, snow, and extremely cold temperatures immediately following it, and that's an unusual circumstance. And so that's what we dread about, because when you get ice, and you get ice especially on roads, it's hard to get it removed, sometimes nigh impossible, and you got people screaming at you because they want to go. They don't know how to stay home anymore, and that's one thing is preparedness fair will help you to learn how to prepare to stay home. You don't need to be out there on that if it gets that bad, because it will take all of us days in many cases to get to all these roads to clear them out to make it safe to travel. So what Tina has put together in this preparedness fair is, how do you prepare for that? What do you need to have in place, and what kind of kits do you need, and how often you change it out? There's a lot of people going to be there to help do that, but we need to learn how to stay home again without a TV. Well, you may not have it
I
either.
can do without the TV. That I'm good at.
I say, no, wait a minute.
We got about a minute and a half. Something I've got to throw out at you. This is going to be the biggest curveball you ever had. Have you crossed the bridge at Black Rock?
No,
new bridge?
not recently.
That bridge has a turn lane. Think about it. That bridge has a turn lane.
Well, they must be going to have a boat launch coming off of it.
That's going to be an evil Knievel launch, because it's about 40, 50 feet down to that river.
It's been a while. I think I've been on since that bridge was open, been that way. I usually go.
I want to know
Little
who
Rock,
approves those contracts, because I think we got sold a bill of goods.
Oh, that's
That's
I
a
don't
state
know.
federal project.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
The state cannot fund those projects without the federal money, but they usually engineer it and oversee the construction of it.
literally, you've got 2 lanes going east into Portia. You've got 2 lanes starting up the bridge coming from Portia into Black Rock that merges into 1 lane, and you've got that center lane striped for no passing. They've got a turn lane on a bridge. Even Sam Stevens coming in and says, "You know what I saw?" And I said, "That bridge at Black Rock." Yeah, it's got a turn lane.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that. That's they must have some future plans there for something.
And something. This is funny. I'm just doing this to Phil because I only got 30 seconds. Look at the sign that says Yellville 19, Harrison 42 in front of the farm supply store at 126. Drive 7 miles farther. The next sign will say Harrison 45, Yellville 9. And then the next one will say Yellville 8, Harrison 36.
Maybe we need to send our 911 girls out there to measure that for them.
Well, I think what
They
we
do
need to
pretty
do is have the highway commissioner answer to like the lieutenant governor rather than the entire state legislature.
The Highway Commission answers to themselves. That's the
Uh-huh,
problem.
and
right
that's
now.
the problem. That's what I'm trying to bring out. How did we get sold a bill of goods on a bridge with a turn lane, you know? Anyway, I want to stop talking. We'll take the news break, then we'll talk about the preparedness fair. So stick around. We'll be right back. 7:35 on this October 29th, back with County Judge Mickey Pendergrass and talking more about the preparedness fair.
Yes, it's an exciting thing. We invite everybody to come out, and we're going to let Tina tell you what all's
Now,
we're going to do for
this
you.
is a county gig, right?
Well, yeah, it's sponsored, which it's not costing us any money outside of
Various
the
sponsors?
Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Fair Board's been real fair to us on letting us use the fairgrounds and reasonable with that and helping us because of what we're trying to do. So all the things is going to be there, maybe even some of the vendors. We'll let Tina talk about what we're going to try to do and invite everybody.
Well, our first of all, I want to say that it's Saturday, October 31st, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the fairgrounds. We have a theme this year since we got to schedule it on Halloween is Don't Be Scared, Be Prepared.
Oh, cool.
And the idea behind that is the more ready you are for an emergency or a disaster event, it's just a whole lot easier to manage. It's not as scary because you know you're going to be okay for whatever time period you've gotten ready for. But as for the event, we've got about 50 vendors that said they are definitely coming. That kind of changes sometimes, but according to their schedules. But we're really excited. We've always averaged about 50 vendors, and they're just going to have all kinds of information about.
And this is basically what it is. It's an informative fair on things we don't even think about to prepare. You know, I'm thinking, take the tornado, for instance. I remember the sheriff talking about, well, you know, finally we wound up with people with chainsaws coming in, and we had more than what we could use here but needed other things. Mm-hmm. I need to keep my chainsaw ready to go in case a limb falls. Fuel for the portable heater in case electric goes out. What else am I forgetting here? Basic needs. Flashlight, batteries.
Oh, yeah.
Spare
Flashlights, batteries, spare glasses. One thing we ran into with the ice storm that folks come into the shelter, they brought a little 4-hour oxygen tank. Well, they were there for 2 weeks. So that became an issue getting them refilled at times. Spare set of glasses. Prescription drugs if, you need a supply, extra supply of them in case power goes out. The pharmacies, gas stations even, they can't even get gas.
And that even happens when the roads gets ice covered. We have the sheriff's office and others are having to go to pharmacies to pick up medicine for people who don't have a day's worth of prescription drugs. So a lot of ways to be prepared there.
Yeah. And
so how do we handle this? Because let's say let's take blood pressure medicine. You get 31 pills a month on the average. But let's say the ice storm hits and you run out at the end of the month and you can't get there. But I was told at one point when I was on a prescription med that I couldn't buy ahead because the insurance companies wouldn't allow. So how do you,
well, there's a couple ways. We've had some folks where they maybe skip one, and save just 2 or 3 to put back for their kit. Or ask your doctor for some samples.
Okay.
They may have some that you can, rotate out with your other medication, just to have enough to get through, a few days until, we can
But
get
it gets much more serious than that.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you going to do for food? What are you going to do for water?
Yeah.
What have you got? And that's easy stuff to pack. Medicines are definitely a concern, but if you can't eat and you can't drink, you're in serious trouble. And so there's a lot of ideas that come out of this fair and kits that explain or list. You got a list there?
Oh, yeah, I got
that's going to be like over there to prepare what you need in your particular condition. That'll be there. They can mark it off and
oh, wow, good lands.
And you don't forget about it. You got to rotate this stuff out.
Yeah.
And
well, there's some things that people don't think about to put in a kit is like copies of your deed. Your driver's license, Social Security cards, just have copies of them in your kit. Well, you want your originals in a lockbox, yes. Yep. But, if that lockbox facility is destroyed, then what are you going to do? You need to have copies in your emergency kit to take with you.
And I didn't realize for water, 1 gallon per day per person.
Yes, and that's just for drinking. It's not for bathing or washing up.
Oh, blankets and sleeping bags. Wow, ponchos.
There's a lot of things on this list, and all these vendors. A lot of these vendors are there to help you organize this, and that's why they're glad to come be a part of this. And Tina and her crew have done a good job of getting them here and making them aware of it.
A manual can opener. Amen to
Yes.
that. Yeah.
I wondered if they even made them, but they still
Yeah,
got
they
'em.
still do. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I use one. Those electric ones are.
Okay, I have to ask, a whistle.
Yes.
The reason behind that.
Well, if there's a tornado or earthquake and debris or, the building walls have fallen on you and you're trapped, you can blow the whistle and the responders, when they're doing search and rescue, can find you.
Oh, yeah.
It's easier to let them know you're there and that you're alive.
Yeah, and basic tools, shovel, saw, hammer, things like that, tarps, rope, and paper, and cash.
Yes, that's very important.
The power's off. You can't get
No,
money out of the ATM.
I'm in trouble.
Me too.
I actually left one day for Nashville thinking, I didn't get any cash. I had, I think, $3 cash in my pocket because everything's on the debit card.
Yeah, I don't carry cash either, so I don't even read my own list.
Wow, some of this stuff is, and let's talk about make copies of all legal papers, the marriage license, home mortgage, rental agreement, cars, trucks, whatever, your wills, jewelry appraisals, driver's license, boat and trailer, insurance policies, bank accounts, credit cards, birth certificates. Now, let me ask you, some of this stuff, I don't know whether this is a dumb question or not. These iPhones have probably got, like, let's take, my driver's license. Can I put it in the memory of my phone? Because
Yes.
99% of the time I'm going to have that with me.
Well, and I was at a event the other day, and somebody says, "Well, I've got all my stuff on a thumb drive, and I just got it on my keychain." So I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome." You don't, unless somebody gets it, but you put a password on it, and they can't get to
Can't
your
get to it,
information.
yeah.
So it's wonderful.
Or the cloud.
Yeah, yep. Now, the car survival kit, again, we got the water, keep at least a half a tank of gas in the car, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, and let's see what else.
A blanket.
A blanket, your can opener, good old duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
If duct tape don't fix it, nothing will.
Yep.
Yeah. And funny, I keep tools all the time. That's where I keep my tools, in the back of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
My dad always carried a small tray of tools under the seat of the car. But
Well, and you need a first aid kit in there. If you're in an accident, or even if you come up on one, it'd be helpful to have a first aid kit or a blanket for treat folks for shock.
But another thing that all this is good, and you need to have that. But if we have a disaster, such as an ice storm or a tornado, or heaven forbid, the big quake, the big shake,
yep.
what's your plan? If you've got a family in the house and you get separated, or if you're not at home when it happens, how do you know, and how do you check on all your family members to know their well-being, and where's the contact point? All those things will be available for people to learn how to do this from some of the staff and the vendors. So you got to have a plan, and which includes your preparedness kit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I never thought twice about, a sanitation kit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say we're out camping when an earthquake hits, okay? You still got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I mean, no sense in sugarcoating it, but a plastic bucket with a lid, plastic bags and ties.
You can put your kit items in a 5-gallon bucket, and it's all in one place.
There you go. And then, of course, the feminine hygiene needs, disinfectant, soap, baby supplies, personal toiletries. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of this is surrounded about who are you responsible for, who's in your house or in your immediate vicinity that you need to prepare for, and that's what needs to be in your kit.
Well, we recommend a 72-hour kit, but as we know from the ice storm, it wouldn't hurt to be prepared for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Wow. And jumper cables, yes, yeah. What about, they now make these little jumper batteries. You've seen them, where you like a little tote-along thing that's got jumper cables on there. But you can run 12-volt equipment off of them, too. It's got like a little cigarette lighter adapter, power adapter. Got one for my boy. He can actually charge his phone off of that thing.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
cool. They've got all kinds of neat gadgets to put in a kit that just are very multi-purpose
Yeah.
and can be used, for just about anything.
The bottom line is, the point is, we never really stop to think.
Mhm.
And that's what this is all about, the fair coming
And
up on Saturday.
when what happened in February of '09, or the end of January in '09, when that hit, we were very unprepared from top to bottom because we just were living life.
Yeah.
And it's like our volunteer fire departments, and as important as they are in our communities to help us with our insurance rates and et cetera, they spend a lot of money. They have a lot of expensive equipment and their turnouts, their gear that they have to find. And you hope that you spend all this money in preparation and never have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope you never have to use your preparedness kit, but it's better to be prepared and be scared when it happens. Yes.
Mhm.
With that in mind, we're going to take a quick break. More with the county judge right after this. 7:49, finishing out the program. County Judge Becky Pendergrass and Tina's here.
It's good. Thank you for having us here and again. And we'll let Tina talk about her bullet points on this preparedness fair to try to tell you what all we're going to do and what it's for. And I want to personally invite everybody to come out. We'd love to see you.
Yep. Yes, we want everybody to come and see us, even if you just pass through for a minute. It's free admission, great family event, free lunch. Salvation Army's going to be setting up their canteen just as if it was a disaster event and they would be feeding the masses.
Kids can wear costumes.
Yes, we're going to have a very active kids zone this year. We have the BACA group, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Riders Protecting All Children group, and the Morgan Nick Foundation. Those three organizations have gotten together to take care of our kids zone.
And I think a group that I help out occasionally, haven't been very active, Michelle Payton's Families Against Distracted Driving.
Yes,
Fab.
they're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have the costume contest. We're going to have games, activities for the kids. They're talking about bringing one of the big motorcycles in and taking pictures of the kids on the motorcycle. I hope I get to be the first kid. And it's just going to be a big, great family event and lots of information.
Everybody can learn from this.
Oh, yes.
Everybody can learn.
But with the
And just seeing the list, it makes you sit and think. And, I hope you have these out there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it'll be not only, we talked about the preparedness kits, there'll not only be things there to present that, but there's going to be vendors there to what I do after the storm passes. There's
Yes.
cleanup crews and ideas and people that do this for a living, and they can give you lots of advice to prepare. Not only to be prepared, but what I'll do after it's gone. And there's a lot of help for that. So go ahead.
Well, and we talk about, we've talked about tornadoes and floods and earthquakes, but when I do presentations in the community, I talk about, if I go on vacation and I come home and my water heater's busted, I got an inch of water in my house, that's a disaster to me.
Yeah.
It's not to the community, but it is to me, and where do I go, what do I do? And just all kinds of resources for information on, and just even personal disasters.
Interesting. Wow.
And we invite everybody that comes through, too. If they see something they think we need to be doing with this, we love their
Our
ideas
attitude,
and input. We'd love to have that on a survey of what do you think about this, and is there enough? Is there something else you think we could include? So that'd give you another reason to come to walk through and talk to everybody.
And here's something that it's like, duh, in your car, in any survival kit, addresses and phone numbers of next of kin or family.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that there's
Tell
an
your
auto
Katrina
accident. What are the
Yeah.
chances of the cell phone staying in the seat beside me or in the dashboard in the in the little pocket there? If you have an accident, stuff is going to fly everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about the communication plan.
Yeah.
And with cell phones, too, I don't bother to memorize phone numbers anywhere because it's in my phone.
It's in the phone.
So having it even written down in a little book is pretty important. Your communication plan, like we were talking about, having out-of-state contact. One of the stories we heard from Katrina is the grandmother was babysitting and the parents were at work. Well, they got separated.
Oh.
Parents ended up in Texas. The grandmother and grandchildren were in Atlanta, Georgia. Neither one knew if the other ones were even alive, let alone, where they were. So having an out-of-state contact where everybody can contact that one person and say, hey, if you hear from, my son, my daughter, we're okay, and this is where we're at. It's just really
What
so
about
much.
this? This is what, and this may be the dumbest thing ever, but we have a large family on my dad's side. Some are in Illinois, Missouri, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Facebook and made a closed group family page so we can all just
Yes.
network.
Yeah.
Now, I know that eventually, even if you had any type of phone that you could access that, can you not get information out with something like that if you had a family?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
got to
if
be
you have a way to be able to do
yeah,
that.
you got to
Yeah.
be prepared if the cell phone towers are down. You have no internet.
Yeah.
You still need some kind of way to set up. But let me give a piece of advice, and I think I've said this before, and I got to check my phone to make sure I've done it. Since most everybody has a cell phone now, you should have a number in your address book that it says ICE, ICE, in case of emergency. Your most important contacts that an emergency worker looks at, a first responder, if you've got that cell phone, whether it be a police department, fire department, etc., can look in that cell phone. If you're by yourself and you've got ICE in there, they look for that address, they know who next of kin or most important contact is. And you can list them in there. Our cell phones, you can list a series of numbers, but you should, they don't know the names in there like you do. But if you put ICE and a phone number, it's got to be in there. The emergency contacts.
Everybody laughs because I still use a flip phone. Well, I don't want to carry anything else. Thank you. There it is right there.
Mm-hmm. And emergency responders are taught to look for that if there's a need to look through a cell phone to find out is there an ICE number listed in here, because I have several people in my address book have the same last name as I do. So which one is the most important to call? Where do they start? So we list them under ICE.
Okay,
But that's just another preparedness note. Won't cost you an extra.
Contact list. Okay, my phone has address book, contacts. I hit that, and I hit the letter I, and there it is, ICE-emergency contact list. It's in simple as that.
And that's just a little tidbit of things, little things like that you can pick up by coming to this preparedness fair.
I want to encourage those, if you're able, if you're, how do I say this? If you're older than me, elderly, and perhaps live alone, ask a friend to take you to the preparedness fair. We've got a lot of folks that are, say above age 65 that live alone and may need some of this information. And it's where at Fairgrounds?
Fairgrounds in the education building.
From 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
That's going to be fun.
On this Saturday. And there's a big pancake breakfast or two in town that morning. You can go eat.
Yeah, the Alleywide American Legion Post having that from 7:30 to 10, I believe.
This Saturday?
I believe so.
Rotary's having one at high school this Saturday too. So, and then you got all the booze displays and walk through Saturday night. So
It's going to be fun. That wraps it up. Thanks for Mickey being here and Tina for being here. The Emergency Preparedness Fair come up Saturday, 10 to 2 Fairgrounds. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.